2 days back, I was in a panel discussion and a question was raised. What was one common thing in all the business turnarounds I have done? The turnarounds and the several growth studies. I gave it a thought. The reason why most of the businesses go down is when the growth is not managed. They want to scale, but it doesn't happen. On the contrary, it goes down. So it was very hard hitting that growth is your worst enemy. Of course, if you're having a sword which is so sharp, if you can't manage, it will hurt you. And a business, if it doesn't grow, I won't say it's a business. A business means when the generations come, the business should grow like 10 times, 100 times over. It doesn't happen. Why? The reason. Just imagine, if I'm growing, would certain things grow? The design of X. What is this X which matters? Just think. I have worked in turnarounds where the best of the technology was there. The Japanese, the systems, best talent was there. But does it mean if you have the cash, you have talent, best equipment, it will still work? No. I'll give you a cue. What is more important? The cash flow? Of course it is. The material flow? The whole industry works on it. When I am working on something which makes a businessman go like this, the MD and the senior professionals start thinking that what is wrong? The answer is in the design of the organization. The way the decisions flow. Organization structure is boxes. The layered things, who reports to whom, what is the peer relationship, and the typical roles, etc. But how the decision flows, that is the design. How the systems work along with people and the decisions happen down the line. That design makes a difference. Just imagine, these are the things you may have noticed but did not think. And those of you who have been in the industry or everybody has been reading. What I did 30 years back or 20 years back, now maybe perhaps in the text. Several decades back, there was a function called quality which was introduced. It was said that it's a seller's market. Whatever you sell will go. But then a distinction came in. If you want to do more, then quality has to be good. The deliveries have to be in time. So then a function was introduced, quality. And a quality person it was said, should always report to the senior most person along with the operations head. They were treated at par. So this quality function was introduced as an extra thing to ensure that the rest of the things are happening on quality. This person, like a villain or like a microscope, telescope or periscope, would examine each and everything. This here is going wrong, that there is not okay, the supply chain is not okay, the manufacturing is not okay. And gradually, over years, people started to absorb these things. Now the head of the production knows he has to manufacture quality goods. It goes without saying. So this quality was added into the design of the organization. And then as the organizations grew, how can you grow? The suppliers have to grow. An organization cannot grow in manufacturing if the suppliers are not growing. Most of you may recall, or you would have read, for example, Maruti, they had hundreds of suppliers. They reduced it to less than 1/3 because the suppliers have to be made more capable. A function called supplier quality assurance, vendor development was introduced maybe 2 decades or so back, where they spent a lot of time. All the auto OEMs worked with their vendors to develop their capabilities. So this was again a function which was added. And over a period of time, now we say that, okay, each supplier, they know that they have to manufacture and supply quality in time. It doesn't stop here. When I had started my career, we used to have a department called administration. personal. Your salary, your leaves, all those things would come in. They would also take care of training. But when the HR function came in, their focus was how to recognize the potential, how to groom their potential for the future. They started looking at people like assets. When this aspect came in the beginning, it was very fancy. But now you go to any organization, if the plant head or a department head does not treat his people like assets or her people like assets, the growth will not happen. And here the thing comes in. In each of the things, we are embedding capability into the organization. You notice that design is for embedding capability so that we can do more, better, at lesser resource, lesser effort in the future. It doesn't stop here. When several years back ERPs were introduced, a CIO role developed. Earlier he was just taking or she was just taking care of networking, etc. Now they were planning how the decisions flow, how the material flows, how the information flows. And now this is not enough. Now they have got a CDO, Chief Digitization Officer. So you see, in organizations across industries, these changes are happening, but they are happening so slow and sometimes we don't notice. Are you working on this? Do you have to follow or are you creating your own? How will you find out if something is issue which could be related to design? One, if the decisions are getting delayed or not being taken by the right people, if they are always escalating up or the person up is always looking down, he doesn't have information, no data, how to decide. So something is wrong. Second, if there is a lot of firefighting, people are hiding behind their roles, something is not right. So it's not the boxes, it's how people work together, how people systematically work together. Over a period of years, we have had so much importance on SOPs. Systems are there. Do we have systems? Without systems, nothing could have been worked, not even perhaps a small shop. Systems are always there. What you do, is it written down? What is written down, are you doing? That is a check. How do you keep improving? To scale up. That is important. The talent which you have, do you give them the authority? Do you give them trust? This is all a part of the design, the way the decisions get taken across the organization. So think over it. I'll come back with it. There's so many things. I could talk about say 50 case studies. And if the design would not have been changed, the growth would not have happened. On the contrary, they would have gone down. So listen for more. This is such an interesting topic and you will be able to relate to it fully and deploy it yourself with your teams. Thank you.